All right, so I was just talking about, was it a day to 2 days ago? Maybe it was just yesterday. About Glass-Steagall, part 2. You know, Glass-Steagall 2.0 coming back, and I was mentioning Elizabeth Warren, of all people, backing it, and why we need to back it for sure. We have got to break up these too big to fail banks, period. And we need some decent regulation back for the banking sector. And I know through Dodd-Frank, supposedly, there's too much regulation. But that thing was gutted after it came along a couple different times. There's hardly anything left of Dodd-Frank. So I don't even know why people keep talking about, oh, there's too much regulation in that. It was gutted almost right away. But anyway, it says, are we getting serious now? Senators Warren, John McCain, Cantwell, and King introduce new Glass-Steagall Act. John McCain, you got to be kidding me. This is from Wolf Richter. Earlier today, I reported on a confidential meeting yesterday where White House economic advisor and ex-Goldman executive Gary Cohn had dropped a bombshell by speaking in support of reverting to a version of the Glass-Steagall Act. It had once separated commercial banks from all other financial activities, but was repealed by you-know-who, Mr. Clinton, Bill Clinton, in 1999, of course, with terrible consequences that ended in the financial crisis of 2008 and 9. The digital ink on that article wasn't even dry, so to speak, when Senator Elizabeth Warren, who'd been part of that meeting, announced today, which is Friday, that she and 3 other senators, John McCain, Maria Cantwell, and Angus King, would reintroduce the 21st Century Glass-Steagall Act. Senator Warren said in a statement that it would protect American taxpayers, help community banks and credit unions compete, and decrease the likelihood of future financial crises. Reinstating Glass-Steagall has broad bipartisan support from the public and policymakers, including President Donald Trump, Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin, and National Economic Council Director Gary Cohn. Both the 2016 Democratic and Republican Party platforms supported reinstating Glass-Steagall. The legislation first introduced in the 113th Congress, which was from 2013 to 14, by Senators Warren, McCain, Cantwell, and King, would separate traditional banks that have savings and checking accounts and are insured by the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, or FDIC, from riskier financial institutions that offer services such as investment banking, insurance, swaps dealing, and hedge fund and private equity activities. The bill would clarify regulatory interpretations of banking law provisions that undermined the protections under the original Glass-Steagall and would make too big to fail institutions smaller and safer, minimizing the likelihood of a government bailout. Senator Warren also added, despite the progress since 2008, the biggest banks continue to threaten our economy. For 50 years, the original Glass-Steagall Act helped produce broad-based economic growth and avoid any major financial crisis. The 21st Century Glass-Steagall Act will reestablish the wall between commercial and investment banking and make our financial system more stable and secure. Reinstating Glass-Steagall has broad support, bipartisan support, and it's time to get it done, she said. And again, of all people, Senator McCain said, since core provisions of the Glass-Steagall Act were repealed in 1999, a culture of excessive risk-taking has taken root in the banking world, placing the financial security of millions of hardworking American taxpayers at risk. Even with the thousands of pages of misguided and burdensome regulations imposed by Dodd-Frank in the wake of the 2008 financial crisis, there are indications that this culture of risky behavior continues today. That's why I believe it is critical for Congress to reinstate the protections that separated Main Street banks and investment banks. Our 21st Century Glass-Steagall Act of 2017 would return banking back to the basics and go far to restore Americans' confidence in the banking system. Senator Cantwell said it has been clear for 60 years that separating commercial and investment banking would protect consumers from having to pay for the debts of bad financial practices of Wall Street. We need to reinstate this sharp, bright line. Congress should take the steps to see taxpayers across Maine and America aren't again faced with having to bail out big Wall Street institutions at the expense of Main Street. Well, it's funny how they're all saying this now. when we almost had Hillary Clinton as president, her husband's the one that dismantled Glass-Steagall in 99, which means he is fully, along with the other Congress at the time, responsible for what happened leading up to 2008 and 2008-9, that what actually happened. Which turned into cash for clunkers. Now we have a massive glut all of a sudden of used cars. It's insane. Let's see. I remain more doubtful than hopeful. Introducing legislation happens all the time. As Senator Warren pointed out, she already had introduced this act in prior years, and it went nowhere. Other efforts have also been made. Just this year, Representative Marcy Kaptur, along with Walter Jones, Tim Ryan, and Tulsi Gabbard, reintroduced legislation to reinstate the Glass-Steagall Act. It, too, went nowhere. Nevertheless, perhaps this time, the senators will pick up enough momentum to get this act airborne. Well, I guess one can hope, right? We shall see. At least there's 4 of them, and there's some, McCain and Warren are kind of big name people, you know what I mean? Not that I give 2 craps about any of them, but maybe now's the time finally to get this thing done. But we still have this massive debt burden to deal with. So breaking up the banks now, what about all the debt? It's going to go somewhere. It still has to be dealt with. So I don't know. I don't know if this is going to go anywhere, but we will see. Take care.